This is going to be an English story again. This was written by a very dear ex-student of mine, Sriman Shankarpur Mitro, who, though he's a very talented teacher of physics, is at the same time someone who has a very good flair for writing, and that is not a small compliment coming from someone like me. He writes very good detective stories also, and I hope to read out one or two of them in future podcasts. This current story is titled Scam, and as any well-informed reader or listener will understand, this has a very close bearing on some very contemporary events that have been disturbing the country, especially our own state, in recent times. This is about the kind of corruption that happens in connection with recruitment to all sorts of government and semi-government services. So without further ado, I would start the story. This is called Scam. And from now on, this is Shankarpur speaking, not me. The recent teacher recruitment scam had dominated the headlines, casting a long shadow over every news channel for the past 3 days. News anchors with voices higher than angry school teachers updated viewers on the latest developments. It was difficult to understand whether the public was angry at the corrupt ministers or simply jealous of their accumulated assets. Arey, these are the little fish, the weakest links in the chain. Otherwise, they would not be in custody right now. The Churi Bidde Mohabidde saying is very appropriate for our country. Churi Bidde? Nando was our newest member and was not used to Abhijitda's style of storytelling. English medium. The mother tongue must have been relegated to second or third language, Abhijitda barked. Since he was the eldest and wisest, he had a right to scold any of us. Thieving is a fine craft so long as you aren't caught. Rough translation. No, I meant, how is that relevant here? Nando made an attempt to save face. No real criminal is going to be imprisoned in these camps. Only idiots and pawns will be made scapegoats. Be that as it may, bank recruitments are actually the big money spinners. Did I tell you about the time I was in charge of recruitment? The fish had taken the bait and we were hooked. Having received an answer in the negative, Abhijitda resumed, that year I was in charge of recruitment and we had 12 vacancies. The branches were all in rural regions around Raiganj, so we had a measly 23,000 applications, out of which around 15,000 took the exam. This was post-computer integration, so computer aptitude was on the test as well. Apart from that, we had questions on basic maths, English language and general aptitude. Special care was taken to sprinkle a few faulty questions in the mix so that nobody got a perfect score. Doesn't look good for the headlines. The narrative was interrupted as Partho arrived with the tea. Partho had been exiled to Abhijitda's house by his home minister. Being young and quite environment conscious, she had made a habit of hoarding non-biodegradable waste for recycling. Recently, biodegradable paper had also been brought under the list of recyclables. To this, the idiot Partho's reply had been, let's store all the waste and use the dustbin for rainwater conservation instead. As she had been unable to put up with him, Partho had to put up at Abhijitda's. Pull up a chair. Today's story is on bank recruitment. We shifted our chairs to make space for Partho. Bittu and Nando, who were sitting on the bed, also wriggled around, God knows why. Only Abhijitda remained stationary in his wooden easy chair. Everything went well with the test. No rumors of paper leaking came up. Mountainous piles of answer scripts were delivered to our office for correction. Thank God for these multiple choice questions. They might not do justice to the applicants, but they are a lifesaver for the examiners. That said, checking 12,000 papers was still a huge drag. An individual target was set at 2,000 in 3 weeks. Now, there were many who had obtained the same score, and picking among them was extremely difficult. But somehow we brought the selected number down to 100. These 100 were then called in for the interview. The elimination rate was 88%. Although I was in charge of recruitment, the rules stipulated one senior officer to head the interview board. My immediate senior, who had been in the job for 25 years, was happy to fill in as the head. Abhijitda paused when he noticed the absence of cigarettes in his packet. He turned to Bittu. How many times have I told you to pick up a packet for me on the way? Now you lend me one. Bittu's hand reached his forehead quite involuntarily. Sorry, it skipped my mind. He held out his packet towards Abhijitda. I will bring one before I leave for home. I am in your debt now. Abhijitda lit his cigarette and resumed. Back to the interview. In came the first candidate, and the senior asked, "What would be your first reaction when you encounter a customer?" The innocent poor soul replied that he would probably provide a seat for the customer, ask about his troubles, try to help him out, something along these lines. To this, the senior's reply was, "No, your first reaction should be to try and get rid of the customer, to turn him away as quickly as possible." Abhijitda scanned all of our expressions. What I am saying is that the disrepute that most bank employees have gained in this country is quite well earned. After the interview, my senior handpicked the 12 he had liked, and the recruitment process came to an end. Despite all this, I learned later that there had been widespread corruption. How? Most of us had quizzical expressions on our faces. That bothered us quite a lot. At no point during the recruitment process had we had anything that could be tampered with. Much of it had been pure chance and beyond even our hands. The most revealing clue came from two candidates, one who had been selected, another who had not. Both of them had paid 10 lakhs each to the touts, and the one who had not been selected had been refunded almost the entire amount. Abhijitda waited for us to put it together in our heads. From our baffled faces, he gathered that most of us were unable to do it. He explained, apparently there were touts who promised the job to the candidates that were going to be interviewed. They pocketed the money from the candidates who were selected by merit or chance and returned most of the money to all those who failed. Everyone was satisfied. The selected candidates were happy and the failed ones received refunds. At 10 lakhs per head for 12 selected and some for the not selected, a neat 1.5 crores. The touts were laughing all the way to the bank. Did this get out into the newspapers? I asked. No, it was hushed up. It was understood that this could make trouble for the candidates as well as the examiners. Nando asked, "You said you had a lot to do with chance. How was that?" Abhijitda's square face betrayed no emotions. We had to pick among many answer scripts which had the same score. The method that we used was to spread out the answer scripts in front of a running fan. The ones that did not fly away were selected. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the story and will be waiting for more from the same source. Have a good day. Let me have comments.